All right, so we have breaking news. We have breaking news. Dennis, coming alive from St. Louis, Missouri, wasn't planning on making a video today, but we got some news that really just kind of hit about Six Flags Parks. So it looks like a series of trademark applications were filed literally just yesterday on the 9th of January. I'm making this on the 10th of January, okay? And basically, a series of trademarks applications have been filed for a new company called Enchanted Parks Holding LLC, which are based out of Orlando, down in Florida. At least that's the office that they have listed in the article that I'm looking at here, which I'll probably put a link to on the video so people can go check that out if they want to. And it looks like several Six Flags parks are not going to be in the chain whenever this is officially announced. This is not official, guys. It's not officially been announced yet, but you don't usually go and file for a trademark to change the name of a amusement park or theme park if you're not planning on buying it and moving it to a new company. So what are the parks listed on this list? Just going to go through them real quick here. Main one for me is my hometown park of Six Flags St. Louis. It is on the list, and they have it now saying going forward it's going to be called Enchanted Parks St. Louis. Now, I don't think this will take effect till 2027, guys. I don't think anything's going to change in 2026 because we literally bought season passes, right? For play, like people in St. Louis bought season passes for stuff like this, and same for the other ones. So I feel like all of this is probably going to take place in 2027. That's my guess, okay? And there's a few others that are going to be joining St. Louis as an enchanted park, okay? Notably, we have Great Escape, which is one of the ones in the New York area, more in upstate New York. I've never been there before, but that is also on the list here as going to be soon to be an enchanted park, okay? Galveston is on here, which I'm assuming means Schlitterbahn, a water park, a very well-known water park, is going to be a part of this as well. Michigan's Adventure will be joining us as an enchanted park, okay? And also Oceans of Fun. Now, they have Oceans of Fun on here, but they don't have Worlds of Fun on here, which is weird because Oceans of Fun is the water park attached to Worlds of Fun. You would think that if Oceans of Fun is going, that means Worlds of Fun is probably also going to be an enchanted park going forward. That's the assumption I'm making. It'd be weird if it was like, no, the water park, like literally attached to it, is a different company. So I'm assuming Worlds of Fun also going to go, which means that Six Flags is completely out of Missouri altogether, which is just kind of crazy to think about, okay? I'm curious, out of these parks listed, and there's a couple other like water parks, camping places. I'm not going to mention those here. I don't know anything about that stuff, but they're listed on here. I'm curious, though, which of these enchanted parks is going to consider their flagship park. And I'm wondering if it's going to be St. Louis, because in my opinion, I know my Kansas City friends might disagree with me on this, but I do personally think that St. Louis is kind of the superior park to Worlds of Fun. I mean, they're very similar to one another. I think you could really kind of make the argument they're almost the same. St. Louis has more coasters, probably slightly better coasters than Worlds of Fun, okay, other than Prowler. I think Prowler's a little bit better, okay, but other than that, I feel like St. Louis has better coasters, but Worlds of Fun has like better theming and is better taken care of, okay? So I don't know. It's kind of like which of these might be the flagship. Could it be Michigan's Adventure is going to be their main park in the chain? It's a smaller one, doesn't have a lot of like flats in it and stuff, doesn't have a ton of rides in it, okay, from what I've heard at least. Once again, not a park I've been to, so I can't speak too much about that. Could it be Great Escape is going to be the flagship? I don't know, but my hope is it's going to be St. Louis, actually. That St. Louis might be the main park in this. The one thing with this is we don't know anything about Enchanted Parks. We don't know who they are, what they are. Is this going to be just another amusement park company, like a smaller one? Do they tend to go more theming on this? I think one problem a lot of these parks are going to have in the coming years, though, is we're going to be seeing all these IPs, all this stuff like at St. Louis, right? They're not going to be able to call Batman the Batman anymore, or Mr. Freeze anymore. So a lot of that stuff is going to get, basically, they're just going to have to kind of take out any of that signage and any of that stuff, and then redoing it, there's a cost to that. So what's going to happen with that, right, going forward? How's that going to work? My other thought with St. Louis is, are they going to continue the Titan track on the Boss here in the off season, right? Is that a thing that's maybe part of this deal? Or are they going to keep doing that? Because last year they put Titan Track on about a third of the Boss in the off season. My understanding was now this off season, maybe even currently, they're putting more Titan Track on the Boss. It's going to get another third of it covered in Titan Track, okay, or retracked with Titan Track, I should say. And then the remaining will be done in next year's off season. Will that still continue? Is that a thing that's going to happen, or are they just going to leave it? I'm a little nervous about that, right? Because I was really really looking forward to riding the bus on opening day, hoping, hey, they're going to have this thing with, 2/3 of it retracked by Titan Track. Is that still going to be a thing, or are they just going to stop that altogether? It's sad because St. Louis is it's one of the original parks in the chain, right? It's like literally one of the founding Six Flags parks, and it's no longer going to be a Six Flags park, it looks like, going forward, assuming that Enchanted Parks is a completely separate company from Six Flags. And that's my assumption right now. I could be wrong in that, okay? But I think that's what's going down here. But yeah, just want to get this out there, guys, because this is just, breaking news out of Six Flags, right? St. Louis and these other ones, Great Escape, Michigan's Adventure, most likely Worlds of Fun, not going to be Six Flags parks, most likely in 2027. What does that mean? Which of these is going to be the flagship park? Which of these parks will get an investment? I mean, this could be a good thing for St. Louis. This could mean we're going to get some investment, because sometimes when a company comes in, that's one of the first things they do, right? We're going to build some new roller coasters because we want to get people into these places. And whichever of these parks they decide is their flagship is going to be the one they're going to invest in first. I hope it's St. Louis. Okay, I really, really do. I hope this doesn't become a thing where our park becomes more rundown than it is. I always defend St. Louis and say it's not as rundown as people say it is. It's really not. First of all, it's actually a pretty well taken care of park for the most part. It needs some loving in some areas, definitely, but it's not as bad as a lot of people like to make it out to be. But my worry then is, are we going to get investment now because of this, or are we going to become more neglected? All right, guys, if you like the video, like the video. I just wanted to drop this really quick and just let you know what's going on with this. But yeah, man, I don't know if I'm excited, happy about this. I'm probably nervous more than anything else as a, Six Flags St. Louis, person, as someone who this is my hometown park. I'm more nervous than anything else about this, but I'd love to hear your comments, guys. All right, take care, friends. I will see you all later.